What's a sign that somebody wasn't raised right? You give them a lift and they leave rubbish in your car. Someone that does things to intentionally hurt another person's feelings after they've expressed that certain thing hurts their feelings. Person 1, I get angry if someone touches my hair. Person 2, touches it, haha. Are you angry? Lack of personal accountability. They can never admit wrongdoing on their part. It's always someone else's fault. Yes, totally. And it's often because immature parents don't realize they should model this behavior by apologizing to their children when they do something wrong. When you don't respect your kids, they can become disrespectful DKS. Who are the guys who spit out their chewing gum into urinals? I see this all the time at work, and I work in a high-end corporate place. Do they think it dissolves and goes down the pipe? The janitor has to pick that out. I had a guy on the floor in the bathroom at my work, then apologize because I was working the shift, not my coworker he hated. People are f***ing weird, dude. How they act as a boss when their employee messes up. Yelling and belittling shouldn't be your first option. If they make messes in public areas and just wander off, leaving trash in the theater. Not flushing. Leaving the cart in a parking space. Working in a theater. I can tell you a good number of people treat the place as their personal dumping ground. And that's apart from the people who make big messes and just skedaddle. I'm talking people who spill their XXL soda and just walk out. I've had the pleasure of walking into a theater and finding 3 separate pools of vomit. Like WTF people. Honestly. Disrespecting people for doing their job. They always portray themselves as a victim. Nothing is ever their fault and somebody is always out to get them. One rule for me, one rule for you parents that mess up on the discipline, accountability stage of parenting produce these people. Rules for thee but not for me. They don't have manners or respect anyone. They never see what they do wrong. The old, I only give respect if it's earned, so I'm gonna be rude to the world, and if it's rude back, they are the assholes. Gotta love those talks with people. Greater than the old, I only give respect if it's earned, so I'm gonna be rude to the world. Those tough guy types who say that kind of line are usually woefully unprepared for the, well, what do you think you have done so far to earn my respect question. How they treat people from whom they have nothing to gain. Retail will tell you about 75% of people exhibit this sign. The word no just means throw a fit and be as obnoxious as you can be until you get your way. No does not mean that rules or someone's job might be on the line. They're the important one, not anyone else. Not respecting personal boundaries. If you're wondering why someone has these sorts of issues, take a look at their parents. Dear God, I used to be friends with a guy who was like this. I made the mistake of talking him through some difficult things, and he took that to mean that I wanted him present 24/7. He'd see that I was hanging out with somebody else and then text me bugging me to ditch that person and hang with him instead because he was sad and lonely. I understand not wanting to be sad and lonely, but you can't make me ditch all my other friendships to fix that. How they treat animals and people without power. I remember hearing as a kid about a Native American belief that's really stuck with me. After you die and as you're entering the afterlife, you must cross a bridge. This bridge is filled with every animal you had a personal encounter with in your lifetime. And together as a whole they decide your fate. Whether or not you can cross the bridge to heaven. This was the first and only time I've heard of your fate being decided by animals. They don't take responsibility for their actions. Or worse, they want you to take responsibility for their actions. They litter. If you throw your S on the floor, then you have 1, no respect, and 2, you're a tramp. I know a few of these types of people. And they tend to have one or more of the following traits. They are disrespectful to everyone. Not just authority figures. Watch how they treat customer service or retail staff. They have no manners in general. Or only use manners when they absolutely have to in order to preserve their own interests. They are cruel to people and/or animals. And laugh at the suffering of others. They are selfish. They destroy things, steal, and cheat. Some also commit more serious crime. They expect handouts from everyone. They shirk hard work and responsibility whenever they can. They complain a lot, and constantly act like they are a victim. They are terrible parents to their own children. Bruh. That is called psychopathy. And you should run when you see it. They never say please or thank you. turning conversation back to themselves at all cost. Being a good listener is a sign of a person raised well. But doing nothing but listening to the point of deflection also means they don't have enough self-esteem or are being way too secretive and suspicious. Always pay attention to how someone treats service industry workers, animals, and young children. They don't know how to do normal household stuff. I've seen people that don't even know how to make their own coffee or clean a toilet. God, that's me. My mom won't let me touch anything because I don't know how to do it. Well, no it. You never taught me and you don't believe I Googled it? Can't wait to move out and feel like a functioning human. They use suicide threats as manipulation. I've been told to call the mental hospital for them when they do this. They will take it seriously. And it's probably part of an underlying issue. They whistle, snap their fingers, or make that PSPSPS sound to get their server's attention in a restaurant. I snapped my fingers to get a teacher's attention once in middle school. She barked at me something fierce. I learned my lesson. Same here. Except when I was younger I had a habit of adding sound effects to my actions sometimes, so one time I raised my hand with an ascending whistle sound to accompany it. And the teacher got angry at me for trying to get her attention as if she were a dog. Lol. That was not my intention. But I learned my lesson. You totally should have done the descending whistle whilst lowering your hand to make clear you didn't want to summon her like a dog. They apologize for every little thing. Probably a sign that they grew up with abusive parents that got mad over anything and everything. In their spare time they dress up like a bat and beat up the mentally ill. Wayne Manor has a lot to answer for. I don't understand what Bruce Wayne has to do with Batman? I'd say on the other end of the spectrum. If someone is anxious about simple social interactions, like sharing their opinions, this is a big indicator that somebody's parents' temper had a hair trigger. Not putting the cart back at the grocery store. They don't actually listen to what you're saying. Are just trying to formulate a response. Just last weekend I met a woman who seemed like a nice lady. But when I tried to have a conversation with her, she would constantly interrupt and completely change the subject. After about 10 minutes I gave up. It was as if she didn't even hear what I was saying. Honestly, though, I got the impression that she doesn't even realize she does this. I have a friend who did this. It turned out she was extremely hard of hearing and had been most of her life. She's an amazing listener now. Go figure. They blame others for everything. Even things that have no blame to place. They one-up you all the time. I bet I could do it more often than those types of people. They gossip about others and will be vindictive behind people's backs. But pretend to be sweet to their face. Thinking abusive, manipulative behaviors are the norm. Sadly, if you're brought up in that kind of behavior, you can genuinely see those behaviors as normalized. We know someone that won't get a checking account, direct deposit because the banks just steal your money. And he takes his paycheck to a check-cashing, payday loan shop instead. We also know his mom, who is in her mid-40s and on her third bankruptcy. Financial management in general. If someone thinks hurting or treat an animal inhumane is alright. I love animals. Especially my cat and dog. I speak out when I see someone treating their dog poorly. It really reflects at dog parks and how their pet reacts. They think handling a disagreement means shouting, attacking someone's character, name-calling or breaking things. So whatever this kid turns out to be is the answer to your question. I follow some trashy people from grade school on social media. There is one that is also posting memes for like, if your girl suck D like this you know she loves it, or I want a man that's dirty enough to F in the bathroom at family dinner. She has an 8-year-old kid. My future fiancé and I sometimes look and think, could you imagine if we friended the mom of our 3rd grader and this was her effing social media? Jesus Christ. We aren't in contact. But I am almost certain that this kid won't be raised right. They cannot take responsibility for their actions. They don't put their shopping cart in the proper place when they're done with it. It's easy. It helps others. But there's no consequence to not doing it, the perfect litmus test for are you a decent human being. Single quote. I remember someone letting go of the cart in the middle of the parking road. Goodness gracious. The way they treat an animal. If you're abusive to your pet, I have no sympathy for you. The amount of love that an animal can offer deserves the utmost respect. If they have zero manners.